Alrighty, we did a video talking about the Mar-a-Lago raid that happened where we don't know the exact type of documents that were taken, that Trump had taken from the National Archive and taken to his own personal home, which, you know, not the smartest thing to do there. But, anywho, apparently Charlie Kirk has some very choice words about how this raid is being done, and we're going to go ahead and listen to those. First one is from the Fish Out of Water. I'm new to Suris' channel, and I'm enjoying his content so far. And there is a lovely, it appears to be the slime girl model for Suris, but it can be hard to tell unless the coloration is there. But either way, it does look fantastic. And Anubian has dropped their first fucking... For 80,001 channel points, Anubian, you got it. With every ounce of energy I don't have right now, you got it. Ooh. Ooh. There we are. The next one we have is fucking... Faina Stalwart, thank you very much for the raid. What were you doing? How was your stream? Next bit we have here is from Mathematical Cabbage, a Suris sketch in a Sonic style. Don't know much about Sonic, so I hope this fits the vibe. It definitely feels very Sonic-y. It definitely feels very Sonic-y. It definitely works. Definitely works. And the last one we have here is from Ize. Said, hey, just joined, and I noticed a lack of pixel art. So we have an OWO slime. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, if you haven't subscribed already, if you haven't taken any time to go to check out the Patreon or anything like that, please consider doing so. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get right into things. Here's Charlie Kirk talking about his thoughts on the Mar-a-Lago raid.
And I'm going to say this plainly and bluntly. Raids must be met with raids.
So the FBI doing their job and going to Mar-a-Lago and recovering documents that did not belong there needs to be met with other raids.
They raid Donald Trump's home? Well, why don't you go raid BLM for burning down $1 billion worth of property in the summer of 2020?
All right. Can we make a distinction, Charlie? Can we do that real quick? So, listen. Charlie, you can't just meet the FBI doing their job with Donald Trump by raiding BLM, the organization, for what protesters, unaffiliated in many cases, with the BLM organization. We're going with errors of category, errors of scope. I'm sorry, Charlie, but it's not like the organization put forward a memo that said you should burn all this shit down. You should go march to the Capitol. No, that was Trump who did that. So, Charlie, I'm sorry. This feels like piss whining to me.
They raid Donald Trump? Well, why don't you go raid Planned Parenthood for all of their, let's just say, very revealing crimes that was revealed 5 or 6 years ago on camera?
Raid Planned Parenthood for their very revealing crimes that were revealed on camera 6 years ago. Now, I want you to note here, he could say what the crimes were. He could. That's a thing he could do. He's probably referring to the conspiracy theory that Project Veritas was putting out, that they were selling, like, body parts or some shit. Like, that's a thing that he's probably talking about, right? So that's the Project Veritas thing. Yep. They were revealed, and that's why he can't say them. They were so revealed that he can't vocalize them on his channel here, at least not at this point in the video. That leaked vid he's talking about was definitely false. Set up revealing the unrevealed to reveal the revelations that were trying to be hidden. So where they actually got arrested in Texas for trying to traffic in human body parts. Ah. So I just have to ask, does anybody buy this? Does anybody buy these errors of scope and stupidity? Does anybody hear that and just go, yeah, no, I should go raid a Planned Parenthood right now. I should go harass people doing their jobs, trying to just, you know, get through the day of working and taking care of women and people who have uteri. Like, I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna go harass them. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what you think to do with your day? Okay.
They raid Donald Trump. Why does George Soros get away with everything he's doing, funding attorney general's offices?
George Soros. Funding attorney general offices. Even if he does, my guy, how much have the Koch brother, you know, rip bozo to the other one, but how much has Koch sent to people? How much has been sent out by the Heritage Foundation? How much money do you think is forwarded into places, you know, various PACs, various lobbying firms by the right wing in America? How much money do you think is in there? I love how for us, we can point to a variety of institutions where money and politics intermingle and commit coitus in a way that maybe they shouldn't. Whereas Charlie Kirk and people of his ilk have to keep on going, George Soros, George Soros, George Soros. And of course, the reason for it isn't just that there just aren't that many left-wing people who are obscenely rich. It's not really that profitable to be pro-socialism if you happen to be going that far. Even being more left in a liberal sense can mean that you're kind of shut off to some of the money that lobbies can get you. So ignoring the fact that it's decently hard to be rich and left-wing at the same time, that happens sometimes, but not a lot. Despite all of that, there's also the fact that George Soros is Jewish. Now, I'm not saying that Charlie Kirk is specifically being anti-Semitic right now, but I have seen a lot of the conversation in regards to George Soros typically fall into talk about globalists and elite bankers, which, again, all that is saying is just, congratulations, you're an anti-Semite. Can you stop acting like Jews control the world or some shit?
Now you might say, well, Charlie, we must follow the rule of law. I totally agree. It must be lawful. It must be warranted. But you must have the courage to do this.
It must be lawful, but you must have the courage. Okay, so who's going to do this? Just law enforcement officers? Okay. For law enforcement officers to go and do this, they need, usually, probable cause. I'm just curious, Charlie, what would be the probable cause for raiding BLM? What is the probable cause for raiding a Planned Parenthood? What's the probable cause for raiding these organizations? And I have a question. Charlie, if a raid of a similar scale is to take place here, do you know which organization would be doing it? Charlie, I hate to burst your bubble, but do you know who would be utilizing a warrant to conduct such a raid at such a high level in order to gather the information necessary that you seek, that you believe is so important for you to find? Charlie, I hate to tell you this, but you're talking about the FBI. You're angry that the FBI raided Trump, but the people who are going to be conducting the search that you want are just going to be the FBI again. If you're so convinced that the FBI is bought out by the woke Soros fan club, then I'm sorry, you're not going to be getting a whole lot of stuff done. Unless, of course, all he's doing is saying it must be warranted, it must be lawful, and he's saying these things to cover his ass. Because he doesn't want the FBI to do these things, or police organizations which would ultimately end up escalating to the FBI anyways. No, he doesn't want to go that route. He wants stochastic terrorism. He wants somebody randomly to go out and do these things. He wants more people like that one guy in, what was it, Ohio, who tried to go up against the FBI, and he got himself iced fairly quickly after a standoff. Like, it is either that you have to accept the reality that the exact same organizations that you don't like are going to be performing these raids because they're the ones who are ultimately going to be performing them, or you accept the reality that you're just covering your ass when saying it should be lawful, it should be this, it should be that. So the end result is going to be just this happening stochastically. Okay.
I am no longer going to tolerate Republican attorney generals sitting on their hands while the Democrats commit these crimes. Forget the FBI.
Oh my God. Listen to this. Listen to this loser. I am no longer going to tolerate it. I am done. Nothing personnel, kid. But I'm done tolerating everything. Screw you, woke moralists. It's time. The time for the Kirkening is upon us. Now, what he's actually going to do, fuck if I know. I have no idea what the fuck he's actually going to do. I don't know if there's anything he can do at this stage. He can maybe lose my glasses, apparently. Let's fix that. They really do complete the outfit, I think. Anyways, when a pundit says, I'm not going to stand for this any longer. We're done. We're done taking it anymore. What the fuck are you going to do, Charlie? Are you going to go onto your show again tomorrow and talk about it again and again and again and again? What actionable thing do you want specifically? Satan's Pineapples on People. Thank you very much for redeeming your points, friend. Ada. You fucking degen. You see, when I talk about things, I like to give people an actual route of action. When you say, I believe these raids should happen, but they should be warranted, they should be blah, 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 that's still vague posting. No. I will tell you to go to your local politician's office and talk with them about the things that you need in your local community. I will tell you to go out and vote on general election day or on primary election day. I will tell you to get involved in local politics insofar as you can. Get involved in your local school board. Get involved in city council. Get involved in those areas. I'm not going to be vague about it because I don't want to be vague about it, because if there's things that I think you can do to make things better materially for everybody around you, then I'm going to tell you specifically, go start a goddamn union with the people who happen to be at your workplace. That's what I'm going to tell you to do, because that's specific. That's actionable. That's something that can actually change the material world without it sounding like I'm just showboating because I want money to just come pouring in from people who are watching the show and advertiser dollars popping in on whatever area the show happens to be posted on. Be specific, Charlie. Be brave. Except, because of the things he was asking for, were he to actually be as specific as he is mentioning, then we all know what would happen, right? We know what would actually happen. He'd get taken off the air. He'd be deplatformed. Because the actual actions that he's wanting are of a nature that are incredibly harmful and are not actually going to be within lawful means. That's at least my estimation from this. So, I don't know. Who's braver? The person who has to hide behind rhetoric and say that he won't take it anymore, but isn't going to actually do shit except go onto their show again tomorrow and talk about the same old shit? I don't know. This is why I don't do the whole, like, I'm not going to stand for this any longer. Because what would I do? I'm going to go on my show and talk about a thing again tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do, because this is part and parcel thing I care about a lot, as close to activism as I can manage outside of literally going and talking to my local politicians. And on top of that, it's also a job. But I think for people like Charlie, it's just a job. It's just to bring in money. I don't know how far people like Charlie actually believe the things they say. I don't.
Okay? The Federal Bureau of Investigation, we got to hold them accountable, dismantle, defund the FBI, put them all in prison.
What?
We have 27 Republican attorney generals right now that need to be authorizing raids against all the RICO operations of the criminals in the Democrat Party. Who? Start with BLM. We know they've laundered money. We can see it on their 990 forms. They've paid themselves and their family members very well. How about Mark?
So wait, hold on. A company, a business of any kind, an organization of any kind, paying the people who run it. Charlie, I don't know if you understand how organizations work. I'm not sure if you get that, generally speaking, paying people who work for an organization money, even paying themselves well, that's a thing that happens all the time everywhere. If you want to get rid of people who run organizations getting paid a decent amount of money, you might need to get rid of the concept of any organization, for-profit or 501c3 at all in the United States. And yeah, money laundering is a pretty stout claim. Paying family members well, that, yeah, Kirasaka has it right, that's closer to nepotism. That's closer to corruption, but it's not money laundering. One of these things is actionable legally, and the other one is just scummy. Like, you can't really legally do a whole lot about nepotism, but you can do a whole lot about money laundering. But you'd think that these things would happen.
Mark Elias's role in the illegal funding of the 2020 election. Get a little creative, Republican attorney generals. They just raided Donald Trump's home. You want action, everybody in the audience? You got 27 Republican attorney generals that are sitting idly by.
You want... Wait, hold on.
You want action, everybody in the audience? You got 27 Republican attorney generals that are sitting idly by.
What do you want to do with them, though? What do you want to do with those attorney generals? Oh my god. Now, I have a question. You know how he just said that he wants conflict? Isn't it weird that on his own Twitter, the people who did this want civil conflict? Don't fall for it. Charlie, which is it? Should people get angry and should they be responding to this with their own raids, or should they not be falling for the people who want to turn this into stoking conflict? Which one is it? I don't know where we are here. It's either that Charlie Kirk is in need of some type of psychiatric help, or he's spent so much time pandering to so many different idiots that it seems less like he's stable and more like he's just saying whatever he thinks somebody is going to hear. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's himself unhinged in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. I think it's more just grifting. I think he's just seeing that he gets money by doing this, so he continues to do this. That 110%. Because it's either that we could look at all of these people and think that, wow, how could they possibly hold so many variable, conflicting beliefs? Is there something wrong with them? Or is this a matter of education? Or, like, what can be done to help? Or it's more that we can look at people like Charlie Kirk, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, people like Matt Walsh and go, oh, wait, no, the commonality is they get paid for this. The commonality is they get paid. Spino Rex, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. Owl. The Attorney Generals will tag in every other day and reverse each other to become the perfectly moot point of rule. Said if he's sincere, he'll be freeing dolphins from drowning. And I don't know. Also curious, how the hell does he think he's gonna have BLM raided Like, again, is he talking about BLM, the hashtag, BLM, the people who stand by that ideal, or BLM, the organization itself? Which one? Which one is it? This is what they get for playing a Trump card. Then again, this is particularly the Dems' fault. Yep, it is partially the Dems' fault. No ifs, ands, or buts on that. But, anywho, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. That was fun. I am very tired. I'm going to try to be less tired later. Maybe the other episodes I record later tonight will be less tired. Who knows? I have no way of knowing. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I, for one, think that it's kind of comical that we're at this stage. There's a process and a search warrant out there and everything. Like, all the due process was done for the Mar-a-Lago raid to happen. And yet, the reason that it felt like a blindside was because Trump announced that it happened and then filtered all of his information that way. But let's go ahead and see what happens going forward. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Give me your predictions, whatever you want to do. Maybe even tell me the commander decks you're playing right now, if you want some levity. But as always, everyone, insert in the video tagline here.